Hey y'all, I'm Heather and welcome to my channel, The Debt Free Quilter. Today, we're going to talk about binding. Not making binding, but binding and finishing our projects. So, binding. We make it, we lay it along the edge of our project, and we sew it on, right? Fairly easy. It's the corners where it gets a little tricky. You gotta do that folding bit. You know, that's okay. It's something we all learn to do. So we're sewing along, and then we come to a corner. But then what do? How do we sew off and make it nice? Well, you gotta turn the quilt at a bit of an angle, about 45-degree angle, and just sew off that edge from about a 1/4 inch from the edge of the fabric. Then you flip it, you fold it, you lay it back down nice, and continue on. Here we're coming up to that corner. I flip it and make sure that one top edge is flush with the quilt, and then I continue sewing until, that's right, it's time to join the binding edge. Let me show you how I do that. Okay, you saw me cut off that bit at the end, right? That's the selvage. Now that selvage is the same width as my binding. So what I can do is take that and lay it on top of the top part of my binding that I've just cut off, and make sure that it's right where that bottom piece ends, and I can just sew that together, and there you go. You will see me do those corners lots and lots of times in this video. So I get up to a 1/4 inch from the edge, I turn it, I sew off, and then continue down the next side. 4 times for every quilt. The fun part is figuring out a good place to lay your binding so that it's not in your way and you can just pull it. That needs to be a better thing. Okay, and here we are again. You see I'm just using that same piece that I did before because it's all this binding is the same width. So I lay it right next to where the bottom one ends, the top one I lay on top. I cut it off at the end of that piece, and then I can just attach it, check it, make sure it's going to lay flat, and then I can move on. Now here's how we're going to attach this binding together if it'll behave. Bottom side, or bottom pretty side up, top pretty side down. Then we're going to sew across at a diagonal, and then we're going to check it and make sure it is the right length, that it's going to lay flat on the quilt before we do anything else. No trimming yet. No trimming yet. Make sure it's going to lay flat. There, just like that. It's nice and flat and flush. Now we can trim that to a 1/4 inch. And I don't even finger press it. I just lay it out and let it go and sew it down. Mug rugs. Mug rugs are another easy way to bind. And now we're going to talk some more about that quick and dirty binding method. First things first, you cut off the selvage because you're not going to need it. You don't even need it to measure. Open up one end, fold it down 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, press, count to 3 in your head, you guys. A little bit warm here. Then you're going to fold one side down to the center and press it again. Once again, we're going to do a 3 count in our head. I know I'm talking a lot in this video, right? Then we're going to fold it back over to make sure it's going to be nice and pretty. And press it one more time. And there we have how we are going to bind. Sorry about that. Excuse me, guys. And for posterity, one more time, I'm going to open it up. If it'll work, if it'll act right. I'm going to fold it down, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, whatever you're comfortable with. We're going to press it. Remember, it's hot. Then fold one side down to the center. There we go. Press it again. That 3 count is so important. And then fold it back in half. There we go. And press it one more time. We're just going to make everything nice and flat. Alright, we're going to attach this binding to this mug rug the same way we did to our quilts. Very simple. Same way, nothing changes. The only difference is you have that funky bit where you started. Mug rugs and small projects are a fabulous way to practice binding. Absolutely fabulous way to practice binding. You can do a lot in a short amount of time, and it's so nice. All right, we've gotten around all 4 corners. We're going to stop about 1 inch down. We're going to measure and cut off that tail that we don't need. Now we're putting the tail that we kept inside that pocket that we made and sewing it down. And here we are once again. We're fixing to be at that 4th corner. Alright, and we measure down 1 inch, 1.5 inches. We measure off that tail because we want enough that it's going to stay and look nice, and we just sew it right into that pocket. Then we flip it over and pull our binding around and sew it down. When we get to those corners, we do real careful and we make sure that everything is super nice and flat, and it can slip on you. That binding can slip on you a little bit sometimes, and that can make it difficult. But you know what? It's okay. It's a mug rug. It's not meant to be perfect. You see? It slipped on me and I had to back up and start over, and that's not a huge deal. And here we go again. We're just pulling it around and sewing it down. I'm using a left compensating foot, which does help. And I'm just always thrilled with my mug rugs because I just have a blast making them, honestly. Alright, here's another method for binding your quilts. Glue binding. You take glue, you put it there a bit on the binding or the quilt top. You use your iron to set and dry it, and you go all the way around the quilt. Especially if, like me in this instance, I was making 4 at the same time, and I did not want to sit at my machine and fight with the binding. So I decided not to. I said, okay, I'm going to try something different, and decided to try glue basting. And you know what? It was fun. And as you can see, I just put a little line of glue in there. I pushed it down, I held it with my finger, and brought my iron over so that I could just set that glue. This helps a lot. It certainly helped me a lot. I'm very happy with how it turned out. And honestly, this did save me quite a bit of time and frustration. Now here I'm coming to another corner, and I run the glue along the binding to the corner. I get it set where I want it. I can adjust it until it is dry. I can adjust it. And the best thing is, this is not going to gum up your needle. It's not going to make any problems for you while you're sewing. It's just going to make everything stay in place so you can sew it and not have to worry about it. On another note, there are several different types of glue that you can use to do this. I am just using Elmer's glue, but there are several different brands of glue out there on the market that you can use that's still not going to gum up your needle, and it's just going to be a nice experience. Right, and as you can see, now we've moved on to sewing. There's my left compensating foot once again. It is just helping me keep a straighter line and keeping the quilt itself from slipping because it butts right up against the edge of that binding. It makes a really, really nice. Also, by doing the glue basting, it made it so much faster. I could do multiple quilts in one sitting, and all I had to do was change thread color. Awesome. Alright, you guys, this is going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Have a great week. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye.